I bought a One Piece statue that's bigger than me. It cost a lot, I have no space for it. My wife is less than thrilled with it, and I even managed to break it whilst unboxing it. So why have I done this to myself, and how did everything go so horribly wrong? Well, first of all, hi, my name is Liam, and I am a One Piece addict. I've been reading the series weekly since about 2005, so over half my life now. And this year on my main channel, I helped fundraise for a One Piece cafe whose life-size Luffy statue had been accidentally destroyed. We raised the money and the cafe now has the statue, but that incident planted a very dangerous idea in my head. And that idea was, well, what if I had the statue? And that's it, that's the entire train of thought. Not only does it not reach a destination, but the train never leaves the station. And originally I was looking for a Luffy, but they were wildly expensive. However, I stumbled across something even better. I found Green Luffy, aka Zoro. And on what I thought at the time was an absolute whim, I made what is probably the worst financial decision of my life. And just a bit about me and money, I don't spend it, like ever. I mean, I buy food, I pay for bills, and I get equipment, this sort of stuff for the YouTubes. And of course I pay editors and artists and whoever else is involved in the production. But other than that, I save whatever else I make. A practice which only took one moment to render entirely useless. But let's not talk about that. So I found an anime store in New Zealand that sold this here brilliant Zoro statue. One of only 99 in the entire world apparently. So what happened is I basically just handed them my bank account. And in return, they put this fantastic man on a boat. Due to his size, Zoro needed to be quite literally shipped to me, which took about a month. And when he finally arrived at the port, I was hit with another very unexpected surprise. Because I'd completely overlooked the concept of import taxes. And I got sent a picture of what had arrived along with the dollar amount, and that floored me. Firstly, because I get that this is a life-size statue, but I was not expecting it to come in 4 separate life-size boxes that are all bigger than I am. And secondly, I ended up paying a disgusting amount on import duty because, well, honestly, because I'm a moron and I deserve it for not thinking. But looking on the bright side, I had a life-size resin pirate coming my way. Now, when it arrived, I was informed by the truck driver because it needed a truck. It was that big. It needed a 3-ton truck just to transport it. But he told me that delivery did not include unloading. So I had to take these 4 gigantic boxes off the truck on my own and bring them inside, which is fine. I mean, it's a good thing I don't live anywhere with copious amount of stairs to climb that would make this task particularly difficult. Except that I do, and it was. There's a lot of stairs. So I continued my self-inflicted punishment, kind of just continuously flipping each box up the stairs. And at this point, I'm expecting things to be broken, very broken. They've not been handled with the care that they should have been. But what's worse is that I discovered that one box was slightly too big to fit. We've run into a slight problem here, in that the final part of Zoro, and by far the biggest box, is simply too chunk to get inside. So, And this was not good news at all, because I'd planned to open them during a video for the Grand Line Review channel. But in this case, I had to perform an emergency unboxing, and this is where everything went wrong. We're gonna be unboxing it here. Wonderful. Foam, glorious foam. So, open the foam up, and that looks like a Zoro. Look, I can see your head. You don't look pleased. There's a definite, oh my god, surprisingly heavy Zoro head. Wow, why are you so heavy? Also like this cool little Zoro emblem as well. I'm a very heavy-handed person. The thing that you don't want me to do is anything that requires some sort of finesse. These hands are not made for that. They're made for destroying things, and that's about it. So of course, naturally, I ended up breaking something. Now, interesting thing. I didn't know that these little pieces of foam actually had stuff on both sides of them. So, what we did is we have a nice hand here that was excavated perfectly, but then, because we didn't know that, we dropped a hand here, and now Zoro's fingers are a mess. I'm gonna have to try and fix that. These statues are surprisingly fragile, although look at that hand, look at the veins, look how lifelike that looks. Looks more real than my hand. Meanwhile, my dog was just sitting in the garden watching my struggles for his own personal entertainment. And at this point, I'd come to the realization that me trying to unbox the thing on my own was a bad idea, a very bad idea, because I was just going to end up with a very broken pirate. Thankfully, I happen to know a couple of One Piece-ophiles who live close by, YouTubers as well. So I invited Joy Girl and Dawn of the World over to quite frankly, to make sure I didn't mess things up more. However, this changed the trajectory of the entire video. And at this point, you might be asking yourself, yourself, why isn't this video on Grand Line Review? It is very One Piece centric after all, and the answer is reasons. Many reasons, in fact. The first of which being that weirdly enough, it doesn't actually fit the channel. Funny meta tangent about YouTube now. The entire platform is pretty much about digging yourself into a niche. Back in the day, yeah, sure, you could be successful as a more general channel talking about general things. But as time went on, YouTube has tunneled deeper and deeper into niches. And even niches within niches and niches within those niches. And the niche of Grand Line Review is One Piece, or so you would think. It's actually a lot worse than that, because the niche is strictly the core story of One Piece. Whenever I try to make a video that's related to a more meta aspect of the series, like say Oda's life, or how much money the franchise has made, or even how it gets published, those videos do significantly worse than if I just talked about the story itself. So that's one of many reasons why this video definitely belongs on this channel, more so than Grand Line Review. But look, after burning my savings, burning my muscles, and of course shattering part of one of the most expensive things I now own, what else could go wrong? The entire production of the video, for one. We actually had a great time unboxing the man in question, but the audio quality and honestly the video quality was nigh on completely unusable. And it taught me a very valuable lesson about shooting in a space that isn't my specifically set up room. But even then, the stuff in the room was also less than great, because the microphone I'm using here, the Shure SM7B, is a dynamic mic, meaning that you really need to be speaking right into it for it to be effective. And I thought it would be okay for two people to speak into the mic because, you know, we're pretty close by. Quite close together in the space, but it resulted in neither speaker actually using the microphone, and this sort of very uncomfortable echoey audio effect. And everything about it was just below the quality of what a Grand Line Review video should be. However, this is Dude in a Room, where we care a lot less.
I've never seen a life-size Zoro before.
How tall do you think he is?
I'm gonna say taller than me.
Like how many Joy Girls high?
I'm gonna go 1.5 Joy Girl high.
1.5? You think you're that tall? You are taller.
Just, you want it that way?
What's your favorite Zoro moment?
I mean, I feel like this is pretty basic, but nothing happened. It's probably what everyone would say. I mean, that's like one of the most badass moments of the series.
What I like about it is that something did indeed happen.
That something happened, but he says...
That's the beauty of it. But he says that nothing
Something
happened.
very much happened.
That's why I like Zoro. He's cerebral like that. Do you imagine it would be easy to wield a sword in your mouth?
No, my teeth are already hurting just thinking about it.
Because I have tried it. Have you ever tried to put a sword in your mouth?
Hasn't every One Piece fan?
Apparently not.
Oh, well, what a rookie.
And do you have anything else to say to this person watching the video?
To this person right there?
Yeah, to this person. Do you have anything to say to this person watching the video?
To subscribe to this channel for more constant...
No, when you say this channel...
I'm leaving it ambiguous.
Do you mean this channel or do you mean this channel?
To this... collective channel.
Do you have anything to say to this random person watching right there?
I'm really hungry right now. I had a bacon and egg roll this morning, which should have filled me up, but it didn't.
In fact, the mission statement of this channel is just raw content, no bells and whistles. So I have no problem at all showing this sort of stuff here, including a very exciting event, because before we unbox the magnificent Moss Head, I actually surprised both Joy Girl and Dawn Girl with a sudden improvised cosplay contest, where both of them were given a bag of materials from Spotlight and they were tasked with making the best Zoro cosplay in 10 minutes, which had some fascinating results. In particular, I would like to give massive respect to both of them for putting gaffer tape on their faces in order to replicate Zoro's scar and bandana. And just to anyone watching, that's not a thing you should do. Gaff it's pretty serious business, and it can potentially peel a layer of your skin off if you're not careful. And I don't think we were being careful.
Oh no.
And we only lost, I think that's only one hair that we lost. But we lost Joy Girl's dignity.
Did we ever have it? Don't look at me like that. Also, we never decided on a winner because we wanted to leave it up to you, the viewers. So let me know who you think won the cosplay contest. But after that, it was time to unbox and build, and honestly, even with everything that had gone wrong up until this point, this moment was still incredibly satisfying. Because in a few short minutes, we had this life-size Zoro standing proudly in the lounge room. And that was very much when I came to the realization that this decision wasn't as arbitrary or even as whimsical as I once thought. Because on paper, yeah, it sounds like a really fairly careless and in the moment sort of decision, but in reality, this was 16 years in the making. Zoro is the reason why I got into One Piece, because one day when randomly switching channels on a thing we used to have called television, I saw the 4Kids dub on Cartoon Network, and even though it was cringy and abysmal, there was still something about a green-haired dude with 3 swords that kept me watching. And from that point on, these characters have been such a huge inspiration to me with anything I do in my life. And when times do get particularly difficult, I just ask myself, what would Zoro do? And the answer is always painfully simple. Zoro would shut up and do the thing, whatever the thing is. He would push through, persevere, and emerge victorious. He's a very basic character like that, almost to a fault. But when you're in a moment of pure exhaustion from being on that YouTube grind and you still need to put in a couple of hours before you go to sleep, what I want is that basic thought. That's not the time to deep dive on complex questions. That is the time where I want to be kicked straight up the ass and just pushed to do the thing. And now I have a very prominent reminder of that, staring me kind of uncomfortably in the face each and every day. If I ever feel overwhelmed or unmotivated, it is very easy to find this huge resin pirate to immediately inspire me to push through. And having him in my home is very symbolic because it's almost like I don't want to disappoint what he represents, which makes me work that much harder. And I know that probably sounds super weird to anyone who, you know what, just anyone. But Zoro and One Piece characters have been role models for me ever since I was a teenager, and I'm now in my 30s and that still hasn't changed. So if anything, having such a huge monument is really just a physical representation of the impact that this work has had on my life. However, because it is so big, it couldn't stay in the lounge room. My wife definitely would have killed me. So instead, we had to unbuild then rebuild Zoro tucked away elsewhere, and because we had nothing better to do, we also turned him into a Christmas tree. Or more accurately, an Xmas tree. 'Tis the season after all. Oh, and I did manage to fix his hand, but it's definitely not pretty. So even though this is one of 99 statues in the world, I can guarantee that this particular Zoro is one of a kind because I screwed up. But that is why and how I screwed up buying a life-size pirate.
Underground.